back here once again, everyone. The latest animated movie from DC is Green Lantern Beware My Power. It's about Jon Stewart, the Green Lantern, and how he becomes the Green Lantern and all of this. Now, before I go through my review for this, let me just say that I am not a fan of this redone DC animated universe. I find that the art looks terrible. I don't like the way that they done it. They done it in this kind of old style comic book sort of look, but it doesn't really work well at all. Some of the movies have been bad, like the Batman thing, Batman Long Halloween wasn't bad. The reveal of Holiday was a total train wreck that made no sense. But other than that, the art style doesn't work and the stories are just coming off kind of stupid, to be perfectly honest. The truth is really, really stupid. Now, when we get to this Green Lantern movie, let me say, Jon Stewart is not my favorite Green Lantern. My favorite Green Lantern is Hal Jordan. I like Hal Jordan as my favorite Green Lantern. I would say that Jon Stewart is my second favorite Green Lantern. If I had to put them in order, it would be Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, Kyle Rayner, Guy Gardner, Jessica Cruz, Simon Bass. So he's my second favorite Green Lantern, but that doesn't mean I don't like Jon Stewart. I think he's a really good Green Lantern, but Hal Jordan is still my favorite Green Lantern. So this movie was the second animated Green Lantern movie that DC's ever done. First one was Green Lantern, First Flight. I thought it was a really well done animated movie. Hal Jordan was really good in it. I like that movie. So how does this one shape up? Well, when we meet Jon Stewart, he's now gotten out of he's a military sniper. He's now gotten out of the military, and he's a little disillusioned. Probably has a little bit of PTSD. So, he's a bit on the fringe of what the other. He isn't like borderline crazy or anything like that. He's just trying to find his place. Isn't long before a crashing alien ship crashes there. He sees that there's a dying guardian inside of it who gives him a power ring. That is basically that is a little bit of a twinge to what happened with Hal Jordan, because he met a dying Green Lantern, and that's how he got his ring. So that's clearly a bad attempt at copying that there. When he puts on the ring, it ends up flying him to the Justice League Watchtower. While at the Justice League Watchtower, when he enters the Justice League Watchtower, he meets Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter, and Vixen. Now, this is a problem. This is a really big problem with this movie, because they formed the Justice League off screen. We never see that. We get to understand that Superman is in it, Batman is in it, Wonder Woman is in it. The Trinity is in the Justice League, but we never get to see the Justice League formed in this new incarnation of DC universe. That I think they call it the Tomorrowverse, something like that. We never get to see it, and that's a problem. People want to see the Justice League being formed. It's part of what makes the Justice League interesting. It's part of what makes the Justice League cool. We never get to see that. They're formed off screen. Yes, it's good to see Vixen, who I think is a really underutilized heroine, and I've always liked Vixen. I always thought Vixen was a cool character, but we only get to see them. And it pretty much goes the way you would expect. They attack Jon Stewart. He defends himself. They find out that he has the ring. The ring apparently belongs to Hal Jordan. So the only way he has the ring is if Hal Jordan is dead, but we don't know what's going on. Blah de blah de blah de blah. Green Arrow, who's apparently supposed to be some kind of comedic relief for this movie, he goes with Jon Stewart to Oa to find out what has happened to Hal Jordan. When they arrive on Oa, they get attacked by Hawkgirl Shira Hall. Right? It turns out she came to Oa to get some help because there's this big war between this big war between Rand and Thanagar that's been going on for the longest time, and apparently they had reached a peace treaty to try and stop it, and this um, they end up, apparently it had this Ranian scientist who had built a zeta beam and was going to be used to help um, better to help end the war between the two of them, and Hal Jordan was providing security for it when Sinestro sabotaged the whole thing, moving Rand into Thanagarian space, killing a bunch of them, which restarted the war, and that's what's been going on, non-stop ever since. So Shaira is all gung-ho to fight and kill and one than the other as usual. On their way now, they end up meeting Adam Strange. Now, why this was we did see Adam Strange in a DC short where he had gotten sent, because apparently he gets zeta beams are drawn to him for some reason, some kind of meta gene that he has that draws zeta beams to him, and he gets transported to distant parts of the universe, unknowing how it happened or when he's going to get back. So he ended up there, and he ended up getting stranded there, and he was there for a little while. He got older and grew beard and all kind of thing and whatnot and the other. So it picks up from there. We get to see when he comes back now. So it actually follows that part from the short that we got, which is, I will say, is actually really good how they did it. He ends up fighting Shaira, and before they end up killing each other, put a stop to it, and then realize that they're being set up to get this done. They get to find out Sinestro is the one behind all of this. They go to find him, they get captured, where they meet Hal Jordan, who has also been captured by Sinestro. They end up engineering a breakout plan, and they start to realize that, Green Arrow starts to realize that Hal Jordan is a little too comfortable with killing people to get away. Normally, this is something he would not do, but apparently he's perfectly happy to kill people now. And they realize that. They end up going and they find the scientist who had originally created the zeta beams, saw that he had turned it into some kind of doomsday weapon now to wipe out Thanagar. They go and they find him to get him to stop, and lo and behold, Hal Jordan kills him and then reveals that apparently he was the one behind it, because what happened, and this is probably the most dotish part of this movie. When Sinestro sabotaged the initial zeta beam project, Hal Jordan tried to stop the beam from doing what it did, but he was unable to. Before Sinestro could kill him, he sends his ring away to find somebody else so that Sinestro won't get a hold of the ring. Sinestro then uses this parasite called the Parallax entity to infect Hal Jordan, hoping that this would make him subservient to him. Instead, however, it ends up infecting him, and he gets overpowered and takes control and forces Sinestro to submit to him. And then they go to Oa, kill all the Guardians, and then Hal Jordan collects all the rings and goes mad. Now, in the comics, Hal Jordan did get infected with the Parallax entity and become evil. So they're trying to use that here. But it's done so badly, it doesn't even make sense. Because when that happens now and he's fighting them, nobody thinks to themselves, if the man is infected with a parasite, why don't we just find a way to get the parasite out of him? They don't. And when you set up the whole fight between, Jon Stewart, in calling his ring back to him, in summoning his ring back to him, the ring flies through Sinestro and kills him. That's a really lazy and insulting thing to do, because Sinestro is one of the greatest Green Lanterns ever. Before he went evil, even though he's gone evil, he's still a force to be reckoned with, that people are literally afraid of. The man is that good. Are you trying to tell me that's the way he gets killed? And then now they have this fight between Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and Hal Jordan has all these Green Lantern rings and is all powerful and thing, but somehow Jon Stewart starts to beat him. because apparently his will is so strong and his will is so this. It's a lazy, ridiculous move to do, and he ends up fighting him off now, and he gains the upper hand and retrieves the other lantern rings, except for one that that Hal Jordan kept an attempt to make a last strike to kill Jon Stewart, but Green Arrow shoots him with an arrow and kills him. Right? Green Arrow shoots him with an arrow and kills him. The weapon that he was trying to stop, because apparently Hal Jordan wanted to use the new Zeta Beam weapon to destroy Rand and Thanagar, so that he could have control. He could set up some new kind of galactic order. It makes no sense, because how in doing that would you set up anything? If you wipe out these, because you set it up to get these two people to kill them, so they get these two planets to kill each other. When you wipe them out, so what? Who's going to care? You're going to move on with their life, and if you decide you're going to use the weapon on other people, they will just attack you and destroy the weapon and yourself. It makes literally no sense. His entire plan is just stupid. So the weapon is going to fire, and they don't know what's going to happen, how they're going to stop it, because they can't stop it now. So what happens? Strange puts on this modified spacesuit, and because Zeta beams are attracted to him, he flies out there, and the Zeta beam when it fires, it ends up going towards him and transporting him someplace else rather than destroying anything. Big whoop, they stop it. Then they end up returning back to Earth. Green Arrow and Jon Stewart goes back there, and Shaira returns to Thanagar, and she says that she hopes that she'll cross paths with Jon Stewart again. Now, if you're going to introduce Jon Stewart into this thing, this is not the way you do it. You don't go out of your way to make the white man into the bad guy, so that the black guy has to be the good guy. That doesn't make sense. There's more than one Green Lantern in the DC universe. You could have had Hal Jordan still be Green Lantern and have Jon Stewart also be Green Lantern and get his own ring. You didn't have to kill him. It made no sense to do it. And then, of course, the entire plan that Hal Jordan came up with was just dotish. The whole thing just seemed intent to make it seem like, white man bad, black man good. That's what it is. Now, I like Hawkgirl. I think they introduced her into it, and they might be set up for some kind of romance between she and Jon Stewart. You don't know. But again, as I say, this is not the way to do it. Jon Stewart could have had his own adventure and have him become his own Green Lantern without you trying to push this whole Hal Jordan infected by Parallax, and that makes him evil and all this. I mean, come on. So nobody thought about getting the damn parasite out of him. Instead, you had to work it out to kill him. You all could do better than this, because this story did not go over all that well at all. Again, as I said, the art style is not very good for me. The story was terribly lacking, and it didn't even make any sense. Overall, I would have to give Green Lantern Beware My Power, for my final rating, I would give this movie a 1.8 out of 5. I don't think it's worth it. I think they what they've done is spoil Green Lantern, in my opinion, because you don't tear down Hal Jordan to try and prop up Jon Stewart. It doesn't make sense. Yes, we know in the comics he went through the whole getting affected by the parallax thing, and he went evil. Okay. But if you wanted to work that into this, you could have found a way to do it without having to tear him down to prop up something. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. And you've done a disservice to Jon Stewart, who's a good Green Lantern in his own right, by doing this. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. Be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.